Hey there, welcome back to K-Korner, your go-to spot for wild, unbelievable, and absolutely true tales from around the globe. I'm your host, Crown, here to take you on another journey through the twists and turns of life's most fascinating stories. So grab your favorite snack, settle in, and let's dive into today's roller coaster of emotions, drama, and unexpected turns. Remember, if you enjoy our content, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more amazing stories. Let's get started. Backstory. Entitled Dad meets the whole checklist when it comes to malignant narcissism. He can do no wrong, no matter what. Everyone else is always wrong. Whatever. Has to have the newest, the best. Nothing else is acceptable. To that end, he bought a brand new 7-seater car 5 years old. Treated that car better than me, honestly. I was the unfavorite of the family. Even though I tried my best to be useful, nothing was ever good enough. My younger half-siblings, the household help, and my stepmother were allowed to treat me however they wanted. I had moved to his country to get to know that side of my heritage, but when it got too bad, I nooped out and went straight back to my mom's country. And backstory. Life has done him a bad turn. Good. Especially after I left there 3 years ago. He hasn't worked consistently, bills are piling up, and he even had a stroke, which I had to find out via telephone relay basically. As a result, he's in arrears of $6,000 and is struggling to pay it since he cannot work. He also owes property taxes. My sister's school fees are in arrears. He can't afford medication or rehab. Now, despite all of this, I spoke with my aunt and she told me that despite him being a jerk, she felt a little sorry for him. I don't like him either, but I said I would give him $1,500. Give, not loan. Provided that he gave me the baby album I mistakenly left behind. Free money basically to someone I am estranged from. Just for a small thing. He keeps asking her if I sent the money yet, but I hadn't. Then he starts saying to her that he will send me the digitalized pictures because the album is not her property. He went on about how I was blackmailing him and he's not going to stand for it. That I hate him because I won't just send the money. Well, I don't listen. I wasn't mistreated. I just made it look that way. But who am I to be believed anyway? Imagine being able to get out of debt a bit by just sending a worthless, money-wise album. Anyone smart would take the quiet shame of the help, as opposed to the very public shame of having your car towed when everyone in your uppity neighborhood is there to see, or having your name published in the editor's page of the newspaper. But I guess spite is keeping him alive. On the medication he can't afford to buy. He says that he's not going to stand for me blackmailing him. Fine. He can stand for the buzz-in when the repurchase agreement people come for that stupid car. I am done. Backstory. Earlier over Christmas I got an electric scooter. My neighbors are generally really nice. They know me and I know them. Also across my house is a little spawning ground of the entitled kid and the entitled mother. They literally will go around the block pointing out problems in the yard and calling the cops for having a full-blown party without inviting her. Yes, I know, an average Karen. Now on to the story. So last week the weather was really nice, sunny and cool. It was the most perfect spring weather you can imagine. So being the big brain I was, I went on a ride on my electric scooter on a weekend. After a while I got tired from all the bumping around, so I left the scooter out on the driveway so I could get a chair from the garage. I came back out with a chair and started to sit down when I heard a blood-screeching scream. Cue the entitled kid and the entitled mother. "Mommy, I want that scooter." Then the entitled mother comes to my driveway going, "Hippity-hoppity, this scooter is now my property." I saw this from my garage and ran out to confront her. "Stop. What are you doing?" "Oh well, I saw this scooter on the ground so I thought I would take it." No. You saw me in the garage. I was in the middle of the garage where I can easily be seen. And you knew that's my scooter. Getting louder she goes, "No, this was on the ground so it has to be my little angel scooter." "Mommy, where is my scooter?" "That's not your scooter, that's mine." "Honey, please wait, I'm trying to deal with this rude young man." I then found the snatch, but I kid you not, her grip was terrifyingly strong. "Let go. Don't you know to respect your elders?" Yes, in fact I do, but then act like it. She pushes me, and I lose a grip on my scooter, and runs to the entitled kid and gives it to him. Then I was saved by a godsend, the friendly neighbor. What seems to be the problem here, young man? Me crying at this point? She stole my scooter. The friendly neighbor then calls the police. Shortly after, about 5 minutes later, we live in a small town. Cop 1 and Cop 2 pull up. Cop 1 asks, "What seems to be the problem here, sir?" The friendly neighbor answers, "Lady over there assaulted this young man and stole his scooter," pointing at the entitled kid and his mother. Cop 2 then goes to the lady and asks some questions, and Cop 1 asks me questions. He asks me what happened and I tell him the whole story, while still whimpering. He seems to understand and the two cops talk to each other. Then Cop 1 and Cop 2 question the neighbor and they seem to believe my side. Cop 1 to the entitled mother, "You're arrested for assaulting a minor and theft." "What? No, he tried stealing my son's bike." Yes, she legit straight up said that. "Tried to rape me and pushed my son." Cop 2 while laughing, "Lady, you're lying to a cop. Please enter the police car." "Never." Cop 1 now putting handcuffs on her. "Shut up and enter the car." The entitled mother was arrested for lying to a cop, resisting arrest, theft, and assaulting a minor. Me and my parents pressed charges on her and we got the scooter back. The kid was sent to his dad, who is awesome in my opinion. If you're wondering where my parents were when this took place, they were out for shopping and groceries. This also happened when I was 11 and forgot to mention that. In the end, the entitled mother got what she deserved and we actually didn't see her ever again. So quick backstory. My family and family friend own beach houses in a small beach town, and there are some entitled people thinking they own the beach down there. In part 1, our family friend's neighbor and her 10-year-old daughter got involved with an entitled kid, about 16 years old, and the entitled mother and kid claimed that our neighbor and their kid took his spot while crabbing. The neighbor was able to back them into a corner and they finally left her and her daughter alone. So the family friend took her family down, her husband, mother, children, and grandchildren, down to the pier so that they could go swimming. Because the family friend's mom was elderly, both our friend and her mom decided to stay under the pavilion in the shade while watching everybody else swim. At first, everything was going well and it looked like everybody was having a good time. Then cue the entitled mother and her family of more than 20 people gathering inside the small pavilion, setting up food, tables, and chairs directly behind my family friend and her mother. They couldn't even move or get out because of how close they were and how crowded everything was. My friend could tell this was a person their neighbor mentioned before because of the way they described her. My friend still tried to be civil, and when she saw the entitled mother, she tried to ask her nicely to move. "Hi, would you mind moving your party over a little bit? My mom and I barely have any space to move." "Excuse me? We happen to live here so we can do what we want." "Well, this pavilion doesn't belong to anybody. It's public property." "Whatever. We're still not going anywhere." My friend isn't a fan of arguing, so she and her mom just tried sucking it up and continued to watch their kids and grandkids play in the water. Unfortunately, that was short-lived as the entitled mother's family started blasting music and yelling inside of the pavilion. Then the entitled kid came along in a jet ski. The entire family saw him and began cheering, screaming his name and so on. The kid came extremely close to the netting on the other side of the dock and began doing figure eights on his jet ski, splashing water on other swimmers nearby and creating huge waves. Depending on the time of the day, high tide and low tide are, the water at the other end of the dock could get very deep and any young kid at that end could probably struggle swimming down there. Luckily, my friend told us that everybody at that end of the dock quickly got out when the entitled kid started doing this, and her kids and grandkids weren't that deep in the water, so everybody was fine. After a few minutes, the entitled kid finally left and everybody went back into the water, but the entitled mother's family still hasn't calmed down. Finally, my friend and other beach goers saw the flashing lights of a police car pull up to the beach area. Everybody smiled as they knew the entitled mother and her family were going to get in trouble. She and her family saw the police car and attempted to ignore it, but suddenly grew quieter. The officer got out of the car and approached the entitled mother. "Hello, ma'am. May I have a word with you?" Her, all innocent like, What's wrong, officer? I have been receiving numerous complaints throughout the past half hour in regards to your party causing a disturbance. What? We haven't been doing anything. My friend says, officer, they have been yelling and screaming the entire time they have been here, blasting music, and somebody from their family came by on a jet ski extremely close to the dock and started showing off. Mind your own damn business. How can I when I'm less than a foot away from you and you won't move? Alright, here is how this is going to work out. Turning to the entitled witch, he said, you can either move your family outside of the pavilion so that people can have room to sit, or you can leave the beach altogether. You can't do that. We have a beach house right over there. Then you can either move your party over there or move your party outside of the pavilion. This is not acceptable. You can't do this to us. What's your name? I'll make sure to write a report about you. The officer gives his name and badge number. Alright then. I will call your station and make sure you get fired. The station is well aware of everything going on right now, ma'am. If you fail to comply, we will have you fined and removed from the premises, whether your house is right here or not. The woman was having none of this. So instead of leaving like any other person would do, she grabbed the sandwich from one of the bags she brought and threw it right at the officer. The officer without hesitation grabbed her and cuffed her. The other members of her family were growing mad at the officer for arresting her, but they didn't fight back. This is your last warning, ma'am. Either take your party elsewhere or I will bring you back to the station. You're very lucky I'm not putting you in my police car right now. But she finally cooperated and was released. She didn't go completely free, however, as her and all of the adults in her family were fined. She was fined the heaviest, though, for also assaulting the officer. The family grumbly grabbed their stuff and left. The officer didn't leave until he knew they were gone. A couple days later, some new rules were put in place that no partying of any kind would be allowed on the beach because of her. A patrol officer has also been sent to inspect the pier every once in a while each day to make sure that she and her family weren't doing this again. And so far, since my friend, her family, and my family have been down there, they haven't. But they are extremely loud and blasting music on a beach and inside their house. Backstory: I'm 34 and both my parents are college professors. In 1998, my dad was offered tenure if he went to teach overseas. He agreed and we had a family meeting. The family meeting went as follows. Hey kids, guess what? What? We are going to Malaysia. Cool, what's that? Before we knew it, our Midwest American family was crammed onto a Malaysian Airlines plane heading to the home of hash. Not the drugs, big exporters of rubber and palm oil. We landed and got settled in, homeschooling for us. My mom didn't have to work and my dad was getting paid in American. So for the first time ever, we were considered wealthy. We took lots of vacations and I got my own allowance, which I mostly spent on food and cool electronics. One of these vacations was to the island of Langkawi. While there, we did the usual tourist things. On the very last day, my brothers and I wanted to rent a jet ski as we had seen the renter next to the hotel every day and just didn't have time. Our boat was leaving far later in the day, so we knew we had time. We walked to the renter and started to talk to him. While he was talking to us, he was also talking to his counterpart in Malay, a language I had picked up because I was the only one of my family to make friends with the people in my town and went exploring on my own. He told his counterpart to cover the price sign and he did so with a towel. We knew the price was 25 ringgit per half hour, but the guy was saying no, it was 50. We haggled back and forth and he said that 25 was a local price only. Both my older brothers looked at me like I could change his mind. So in Malay, I told him that we weren't tourists, that we lived on the mainland for quite some time and that we couldn't afford an hour and a half at 50. He said, "You're white, you can pay." I said, "What does a double price gain us?" He said, "Insurance. The insurance covers any damage, no matter what, and free gas refill." Oh, can we damage a jet ski? No problem. That wasn't fair at all, but we had in fact lived there for a while and knew there was nothing we could do about it. I called him a name which directly means stupid like a pig, but depending on the religion and class of the person, it's actually a grave insult. However, I called him as we offered the money, giving him a chance to take the insult and the money or send us away. He took the money. My oldest brother went first. He went out and played in the waves, jumping and diving, just having fun in general. Then my middle brother, who did much the same, when he came back he said he thought it was running low on gas because the engine would die sometimes. Now it was my turn. I told the renter he should put gas in and he said, "No, you'll be fine, boy. You'll be fine." I took his word for it because I had never ridden a jet ski and knew my parents wouldn't let me do it alone if they were there. I headed out and felt like a king. It was awesome, and I got the idea to see if I could reach the neighboring island, which didn't seem too far off. I got about halfway there and the engine started to die. As I hit waves at different angles, it would sputter back up and die, then back up as the next wave hit. If any of you have had the chance to see that place, it's absolutely beautiful. The water is clear and you can see everything. And by everything I mean all the fish, jellyfish and everything else that wants to eat you or just ruin your day. To add to that, I had no sunscreen. And though I'm a very good swimmer, at age 12 I still had a phobia of swimming in ponds, lakes, and the sea. Kind of the creepy something touched me phobia. Anyway, as I was forced to take note of the beauty and quiet of the sea due to not having gas, I noticed I had drifted south around the island and could no longer see the hotel. Over an hour goes by and nothing. I am past tears and start to notice how thirsty I am. I start rocking forward and backward to get some sort of motion. Eventually I spot a boat, and it's getting late and the day hours have passed. I started screaming and yelling to get the boat's attention. It sees me and comes to check on me. I tell them I'm out of gas and need help. They ask if I'm American. Automatically I remember my parents teaching me to claim that I'm Canadian because Americans and British are not well liked. They toss me a rope and pull me in. Going between English, French and Malay on a rant about how I was going to die. I didn't do well in French class. It sure came back quick and was no help but to confuse my new friends. The captain of the boat went inside and brought out food and water as well as his son who spoke English and Malay. I explained everything she said. When they were done, lay in their cages, they would see to me. Time goes by and I watch the guys on the boat jump off. Others toss them hook cages and they swim to set them up. The kid's father comes out with a jar and a gas can. He says he has a wrong fuel for my jet ski but knows a trick. He pours a clear liquid into the jet ski followed by green fuel. He offers me the jar and does the drinking motion. I took a swig. It was fire. It was the strongest, brightest liquor I had ever seen, and even now at 34, I have never drank anything that harsh or strong. He tried starting the jet ski and nothing happened. We do this a few more times and then he takes a spray can and tries again. While spraying the can into the engine, his son says, "Get on and go fast because it won't last long." I take off and can feel the jet ski protesting and lagging. But I came to the side of the hotel and saw my family, police, and the renter on the beach. I gun the thing and crash it on rocks on the beach, sending me flying into sand and ripping the jet ski apart. I run to my mom as the renter runs to his wreckage. I tell them everything that happened and the medical team from the hotel looks over me. I had been stung on the foot by a jellyfish. I had second-degree burns all over my body except where my life vest covered and had soiled myself. We had already missed the boat to go home, so the hotel let us stay another night. As we were wrapping up on the beach, the renter came back in perfect English that we must pay for repairs. That was his only jet ski and he would now starve. My brother said, but we paid for the insurance. The renter said, no insurance for this, and I said you charged us 50 instead of 25 and said damage was covered no matter what. The hotel staff heard this and asked what he charged. Apparently he had been warned not to gouge guests in the past, and they told the police to remove him and ban him from their beach. We went back to the room and my mom gave me the most painful shower I ever had. The next morning, we had a quick visit with the medical team and left. The jet ski rental was crossed off the board of activities and his whole setup was gone from the beach. And I have never rode a jet ski since. Wow, what a ride that was. Thanks for joining me here at K-Korner. I hope these stories left you amazed and entertained. If you've got your own tale to share, drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. so you never miss out on our daily adventures. This is Crown, signing off.